Okay, we have the top of the hour, so let's get started. Thank you for joining us for the monthly ramp up presented to you by Franchise Ramp. My name is Nick Hansen, Director of Creative at Franchise Ramp, and I'm super excited for the latest edition of this webinar series that includes a mix of in the trenches knowledge and high level strategy, along with a featured interview with the franchisee. Today, we have franchisee Amber Destefani. We may need to get the pronunciation of that when Amber hops on with Pure Barre Spring Hill, and our awesome franchisee success manager Haley Wieland will conduct the interview. We're going to start today with a tactical tools session with Franchise Ramp account manager Matt Templeton. Thank you so much for attending today. The monthly ramp up's goal is to give you a coherent picture of what's happening at the intersection of marketing and franchising. We want this to be a tight-knit community for franchisees to share knowledge and gain insight. Our mission at Franchise Ramp is to help franchisees realize their entrepreneurial dreams. We were tired of working with digital marketing agencies who didn't understand franchising or sales in general. So we took matters in our own hands, became Facebook experts, and added other digital marketing experts to our team. We are the new standard in franchise digital marketing and help clients obtain more quantity and higher quality leads. Please come back and join us again. And now it's time for our tactical tools session with account manager Matt Templeton. Matt, please take it away.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get into it. Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to be going over a deep dive into one of the many marketing aspects that we use on a daily basis, and also how it benefits franchisees. So my name, like Nick said, is Matt Templeton. I'm an account manager here at Franchise Ramp. Just a little about me. I have a background in sales, SEO, digital marketing, and retail, telecommunications, and also automotive. My love for entrepreneurial development and helping clients win is basically what brought me to Franchise Ramp. So basically, what are A/B tests? A/B testing is a powerful tool that can help us improve conversion rate, click-through rate, cost per lead, and can be used to fine-tune and improve pretty much all of the KPIs. By testing different elements, you can see which performs better with your audience. What banner colors do they like? Do they like group shots, images, boomerangs of a workout? Do they like emojis or no emojis? Simply put, A/B tests are a way to compare two or more versions of something to see which performs better. This can be comparing Facebook ads, testing different subject lines for an email campaign, or even testing out a new design for your website. Some common things to test include creative, copy, call to action, and even the color of a button. By split testing different variables, you can achieve the best result for your business over time. Nick, go ahead and go on to the next slide. So how to set up an A/B test. When setting up an A/B test, you first need to decide what you're wanting to test. The two versions should be identical except for the element you want to test. One version will be the control, which is the version of the ad that you're currently running or what you're wanting to test. The other version will be the variation, which is the exact same version of what you already have. The only difference is you test out that one variable, whether it be a headline, call to action. That's what you're wanting to test. For example, if you want to test the headline of your landing page, version A would have the original headline, and version B would have a different headline. Everything else remains the same except for the single variable you're testing. For Facebook, we use A/B tests to test different aspects of each ad. We split test not only everything from copy to creative to call to action buttons, but also different placements, device types, and interest targeting based on DMAs and regions, and also different demographics between all the brands that we use. Because what works in Yoga 6 Studio in Austin may not work for a Stretch Lab in Scottsdale. By doing this, we can find what works best for each brand and what content will resonate most with their target audience. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Nick. This is one example of a recent test we did in Club Pilates. This is a great example of doing a banner test. So in this one, we were testing banner overlays versus non-banner overlays in the exact same boomerang and images. As you can see here, the primary text is the same, the subject line is the same, the call to action is the same, and even the video is the same. The only difference is the banner. In this case, we determined what variable was working on early on, and with optimizations of the campaign, we're able to direct more ad spend to the best performing side of the test. So, for example, while the cost per leads are somewhat similar, the ads with the banner overlay had a much lower cost per impression, and which is the cost to show the ad to an audience. This test was run with 4 different videos, with the only difference between them being the banner, across many of our Club Pilates, and with the results overall being banners having a lower cost per lead of $9.09 versus no banners at $10.61. Go ahead and go to the next example. In this example of Soccer Bar, we tested out the copy with emojis versus no emojis. As you can see here, the graphic is the same, the headline's the same, the description's the same, the call to action's the same, and even the copy, with the only exception being the emojis being in the copy versus no emojis. The result with emojis having a slightly higher cost per lead of $16.71 versus no emojis at $16.17. This one kind of surprised me as well. As you can see, everything in the 2 ads are the exact same, again, except for the single line item that we're testing. We even use the same audience, same targeting strategy. The only difference is that we isolated the variable that we're testing. We also look at many different KPIs in the funnel as far as cost per impression, click-through rate, but the primary KPI for these tests are lead costs. Each of these tests have given us a valuable insight into next steps and how to improve performance for our clients. And next slide, please, Nick. And so what this means to you, basically we are constantly testing different variables in each and every account at Franchise Ramp across all brands. We utilize data-driven tests across the entire brand ecosystem to speed up learnings, since we are testing across many different accounts, and maximize the ad spend in your specific location at Franchise Ramp. This allows us to fine-tune your campaigns over time and get the most out of your budget. Our goal is to always improve the iteration over time to find out what is and isn't working. If you're not testing, you're leaving money on the table. Thank you. I'll go ahead and pass it along to Haley Wieland.
Thank you, Matt. That was super informative. Please let us know in the chat if you have any questions. There's a Q&A function, or you can type it in the chat and we can go to that at the end. And now, yes, Haley, please introduce us to Amber.
Yeah, thanks for having me and Amber on here. I'm happy to have you all. Amber has been a Pure Barre member since 2014. She started teaching in 2020, and then she just took over Pure Barre Spring Hill in April of 2022. So whenever she's not teaching and dedicating her life to Pure Barre, she loves to cook. She has 2 kids that she loves to play with, age 3 and 6, and cheer on UGA. How are you today, Amber?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being on. We'll just go ahead and start with some questions. So would love to know what you did before you were a franchisee. What was life like before it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I worked, I was at a healthcare company called Jackson Healthcare. We did recruiting for like sales and marketing people who would recruit locum tenens that go into hospitals. So kind of like really specialized recruiting and sales. So yeah, so I was on the HR team. I did HR for probably for 8 years before. And then we moved to Nashville and in 2020, and I went part-time so that I could be home with the kids for a bit. And I started teaching Pure Barre, and because I had been a member for a while and I just absolutely loved it. And it was kind of, working remote is really hard when you don't get to see people ever. So coming to Pure Barre and getting to teach and, see others was kind of my jam here. So it just made Pure Barre even more important to me. And then our studio went for sale. So here I am. I was like, I will take it. It's mine.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you've been in it for so long too. I remember when we first met, just hearing that you had been in it for so long, you had a passion for it. It's been something that's gotten you out of the house, helped you out. So I love hearing that. So other than the fact that you've been in it for a long time, why this brand? Why did you start out in Pure Barre, even being a member in 2014? What excited you about it?
Oh gosh. Well, a couple of friends of mine took me to a class and I felt like a fish out of water, like most people do when they take a boutique fitness class their first time. But the people at the desk told me it's better to get right back in it, to take it again in the next day or two to see, how your muscles feel or whatever. And I was not a workout person before this. There was just nothing that I ever stuck with. So I did end up going to another class, and then I was actually getting married 3 months later. So they used to do this bride to be package for 3 months. And so I was like, I'll just give it 3 months for the wedding and see how it goes. And after that, I just never turned back. I have been doing it for years, and it's just my absolute favorite thing, not just because the workout, but the community in Pure Barre Studios is like nothing I have ever seen. Like everyone here is just loves to keep you accountable. They're your friends and highs and lows. And it's just really, truly a happy place for me. So it's not even just about the workout for me. It's more about the community here.
That's wonderful. How do you feel the bride to be prepped you for years of being in Pure Barre and then becoming an owner?
Oh gosh, I just if you told me that I would be owning a studio when I started Pure Barre, I would have told you were crazy. If you told me that 2 years ago, I probably would have told you were crazy, because it took me probably 1.5 years to gain the nerve to even teach. But I just love it so much. And it's just feels like my life's work. I love spreading it to others and being able to encourage people to come in, especially when they feel intimidated. Because I know that it's easy to feel intimidated, especially by a place like this, when there's a ballet bar in here and you think it's probably dancers or ballerinas, and it's really not. And so I try really hard to make that something that we share here, specifically in Spring Hill, because we have all different ages and sizes and, all of that. So I just really want it to be an inclusive place.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great thing to have as an owner, just to that trickles down to your staff. So I love that. Amber, I know you, what are some challenges that you've had to overcome just as being an owner in the past few months? Tell me about that, and then how you've overcome it.
Our big one, that our Facebook shut down for about 3 weeks. So that was fun. Right after I took over, it was probably a week or two later, Facebook just one day unpublished us, and it took a while to come back up. So that drastically reduced our leads, and was a pretty huge hit to us. So to overcome that, other than just chatting with you and hoping that you could help us, we did a lot of grassroots things. We did multiple pop-ups last month, and just try to get our name out there. I reached out to a lot of local businesses that we could work with. So we were going on our social and on their social medias, and just, getting us, I got us at a park for a pop-up. And then we also did a bookstore pop-up, and had a deal going with the bookstore so that you could shop after for a discount. So, and I did, multiple events in studio too. We did sip and shops, and I just tried really to hit heavy on emails to get us out there, because we weren't going through ads a lot, which was pretty hard. That was probably a really good fire drill for me as a new owner.
Put you right in the fire. Isn't that what they say? Throw in the fire, and then you'll be good after that. So hopefully
I told my GM it can't get much worse than this. So
yeah, you're like, this is great. We've kind of gone through it. Now we just get to continue forward. So, but you came up with creative ways to, while that was down, and then, us and Lindsay were working on getting you back up and running. You were able to find creative ways, which I think is really great, that even as a new owner, you're like, okay, what can I do to make sure the community knows I'm here? What was your favorite part, or your favorite pop-up or idea that you had come out of that?
Oh gosh. Well, let's see. It has gotten us, I think it encouraged us to start doing a lot of events, which we didn't do previously. And I'm just really big on events. So I already kind of wanted to hit that heavy. And the best thing has just been reaching out to other owners in the city, right? So we've had Zavelle down in our shopping center is they do cryotherapy. They've reached out to us. We have a wax place next door that's reached out to us. We've been working with the juice bar. We recently did an event with a brewery across the street who brought beer over here for us to try after class. And so, it's been out of that. We've done a really good job getting connections within
Yeah.
our city, which has been huge for us, I feel like. So I don't know that I would have hit it as hard as I did if we didn't have those ads not going out. So it kind of lit a fire for us to really start, communicating with everyone immediately. So that was good.
Yeah, maybe a blessing in disguise. Never happened again, but maybe that little thing helped out a little
One
bit.
blessing is good.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And then that helps out. But it is great that you've gotten involved in like the community and that other people are working with you, because word of mouth is also a great forum. And even when people come in from ads, and they tell their friends about the great time they had, or that you're, connected with X, Y, or Z, like different places, it can really help kind of your reputation with that too. So I love to see that came out of that. Is there anything since the time you've been an owner that you would have done differently?
Gosh, I don't know. It's been such a short time for us. And I mean, we really our focus has just really been trying to get our name out there. So I don't really know, other than I wish that I had bought it like 6 months ago so that I could have like helped us grow before that happened with our Facebook, because I feel like we're doing a pretty good job of that. And now that it's back up, we're getting tons of leads and it's been great. But, that part has been hard. So it just took so long for it to go through for us to finally get to own. So
yeah,
it's just been a hard time, but we're getting there. We're pulling out of the trench and feeling good about it.
You are getting there, and you guys you're awesome. You're great owners. And so you're, so you're doing wonderful. From teaching to owning, what's been the biggest difference, or something that you were kind of unexpectedly came up?
Oh my gosh. It's just been, when you're teaching, like, it's just, you plan your class and you come and you teach, and then you get to talk with clients and you don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. And the stuff that has been interesting has been dealing with like the behind the scenes, like the emails that come from clients about pricing mostly, and how they want to find any way they can to make it cheaper. And I have to find a way to explain to them why it's worth what they're paying. Right. So I try really hard to make it worth what they're paying. I know they pay a lot to be here, and it should be more than a workout to them. And I want it to be that, but it is that part has surprised me, because I didn't work desks before. I only taught. So I didn't have to do anything with clients really. So having to do the sales piece myself and also convince them that it's worth what it is per month has been just interesting.
Yeah, but you're a great like testimonial to that, right? You were a teacher, and before that, you've been taking classes for a long time too. I mean, you'll be coming up, it's 2 years away, but 10 years of being in it, and just continuing on. So I think that's a great, like, hey, yeah, absolutely. But look how long I've been in it and what it's done for my life, and
For
we're
sure.
really enjoying it. So that's really awesome.
I love to tell them, like, especially when I started, like I had just graduated college. I had not a real job, like really no money. I could not afford to become into Pure Barre, but I talked my soon to be husband into it. And I went home with the price and was like, okay, if I go to class 15 times a month, it's actually only $12 a class rather than $25 a class. So like, here's how I can make it worth it. But I did that and like committed to that amount of time. And it really, helped me get in to a routine with it too. But like the cost drove me to go, especially when I didn't feel like I had the money for it.
Yeah, I know that's what drives me. If I buy something like a membership, I'm like, all right, I've done it. I gotta go, because
I
if
better
not,
use this.
I'm spending money. So it is good motivation, but I really do love ever since we met, I loved your like background and how long you'd been in it, and that it was really a passion for you. And so I think that helps drive leads to members for you too, because you were able to really sell it and sell how much you love it. And so that's been really fun to watch. And thank goodness your Facebook page is back up and leads are coming in and you're able to connect with the community. So it's been really great watching and continuing our relationship. So I appreciate you hopping on and just kind of giving information about, your experience thus far.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. And we appreciate you. You're the best. Thank you for meeting with us so often and changing things when we need you to. So
of course,
it's been great.
I'm glad. Good to hear.
Thank you, Haley and Amber. So good to learn more about your story. And we don't have any questions right now in the chat, but please let us know. We'll give it, maybe 5 or 10 more seconds before we call it a day. But also know that we're going to be sending this recording out via email. So if you want to share it with anybody on your team, that is totally an option. And if you have any questions that come up later, feel free to email us. And yeah, I think that is about it. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We already can't wait to see you next month, and we look forward to working with you to help you achieve your entrepreneurial dreams. Have a great week.